Hi, and welcome to the Director's Cut. My name is Mia, and today I am trying to learn how to make something new. All of the Director's Cut segments will follow this line. If it's something I've made before, you will not see me do it on here. So today, I've got a pork short rib, which I've never ever cooked before in my life. And in the process of trying to figure this out, I've asked numerous people, how do you cook it? How do you, have you ever cooked pork ribs before? Well, there's a lot of different variations, everything from cooking in the crock pot, to the oven, to on the grill, or variations in between. But the one thing that remains the same is that you must cook these slow and steady, slow and low. So it's a several hour thing, just like if you were to smoke them. You're gonna want to cook them at a lower temperature for several hours, and from what I'm told, at least 5 hours. But one tip that I got that I'm gonna go ahead and do, because, well, it couldn't hurt, is to put the seasoned rub that I have here on it and let it sit overnight in the fridge. And I bought several different rubs, but this one here, after doing several taste tests of them all, is the one I decided to go with. So I'm gonna rub this pork rib down, and then I'm gonna put it in the fridge overnight because I do not plan on cooking these until tomorrow's dinner. And so let's do this. So I'm gonna use this bowl here. That way I don't get any of the juices or anything in the bottle, so that it gets, contaminated. Bacteria could make someone sick if it's used on anything else. And then you want to make sure you wash your hands, which I did. And that way you're not contaminating this. Now granted, it's going to be cooked for several hours, so it probably wouldn't hurt it. But, the number one rule in the kitchen is wash your hands, wash them. In between touching or doing anything back and forth, you want to wash your hands. So I'm going to put my rub, first I'm going to just sprinkle it on here. And then we're gonna rub it on, thus the name, rub. And I was told to be very generous with it. And the longer that this gets to sit, which is why I'm doing it overnight, the more of a chance the meat will have to actually soak up the flavors. That way it's not just, basically your outer edge tasting the only thing that tastes like the rub. You want the meat to actually soak up the flavor. So I'm going to use a lot of this. I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to do the other side too. So this is a nice set of ribs here. Now the reason I've never cooked pork ribs before is because I grew up in a situation where I just never had pork until I was an adult, and so I just never developed a palate for it. But when you have a large family, pork is a lot cheaper than beef, and sometimes even chicken, depending on the sales and what cuts you're getting. So this is definitely something I need to learn and just develop a way to make it to where I'll like it too, and not just the rest of the family. So, I mean, when you can get 2 big short ribs like this, buy one, get one free, yeah, you kind of like go, maybe I should learn how to make this, because this is gonna feed my whole family easily. throw some baked potatoes with it or something, and you got yourself a nice good meal. Okay, we've got our, let's get this down here. It's trying to escape from me. So there you have it, and we'll check back tomorrow morning when we're ready to cook this. And I've chosen to go ahead and cook this in the oven. But then I thought some more about it, and I have a roaster. So I'm gonna combine basically the kind of crock pot method with the oven method, which a roaster isn't exactly a crock pot, but it works the same way. And I can set it on low and cook it all day. I've used it for turkeys, for chickens. So this is something, you know, it should work good for. I've even done like roasts in it, like beef roasts, and it turns out real good. So there we go. We're gonna put it in the fridge overnight. Okay, so we've let our pork ribs sit overnight with our rub on it and everything. So now we're gonna put it into the roaster, which is the biggest thing I have, the closest thing to a crock pot. And we're gonna turn it on, remember, low and slow. So probably about, let's say about 300. And now we're just gonna put this in. We're not gonna put any juices or water or anything in with it, because as it cooks, the fat will melt and it will become juices in there with it. So that's all we're gonna do, and we're gonna check back on it in about 5 hours and go from there. Okay, we are about 3.5 hours in, and that is what we have. So I think I'm gonna need to turn this down a little bit for the remainder. I should have cooked it lower. Maybe not, I don't know. But anyways, isn't that beautiful? One thing I did forget though is I wanted to put some onions in it. And the reason why is because I was told, there we go. I was told that the onions will help, it'll help make the meat more tender. And so I figure it couldn't hurt, we'll try it. But so yeah, we're gonna wait another 2 hours or so and check it again. And we've got it turned down now. So now it can just kind of more like simmer. Oh, it smells so good though. All right, so there you have it. Pork ribs. I did it, and it looks so good. And it smells good. I wish you guys could smell it, but it literally is so tender it can rip apart. So we're gonna go devour these now. We look forward to seeing you at the next Director's Cut.